Hey guys, so this is the video for the Sss Stamp March kit for 2019. I have 10 cards. Some of them I posted pictures on Instagram, but I wanted to make sure I did the video for those of you who didn't get to see them. And I'm getting it done right now before I do anything else to make sure I get it out for you guys tonight. Spent a few hours up at the hospital and nothing has changed with my grandmother. So I'm kind of in a stasis of worry and turmoil right now. But we're gonna carry on. So for the first card, it was actually the very first card I started working on, which seems like forever ago when I lost power in those high winds. I used a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I stamped out the rainbow and the clovers and shamrocks from that small stamp set that came in the kit. And I didn't want to like stay in the lines and color. I did them with gold embossing powder, and then I used a orange and a green Zig and Arteza Real brush markers, and with a water brush. I think this fine detail water brush. And just put some color in there. Actually, I put the color on my mat and then added it. I just wanted it to be not messy, but not in the lines. Just make sure that every picture had color. I did alternate the color inside of the rainbows. Then I took a piece of vellum, cut it out with my circle scallop dies from Sizzix, and I used a little bit of my iridescent, you know what? It's a little dark right now. Let me turn this on. My iridescent watercolor ink that came in a Hero Arts kit, and I mixed it with some of the Lucky Hybrid ink pad that I put on my glass mat. Added some water, painted both sides of the vellum with a water brush pen and the mixture I created. It curled up, of course, but I let it dry front and back with my heat gun, and then I put it under a very heavy old-fashioned iron. I don't know if I've ever shown it to you guys. I can't show you right now because right now it's holding up the selfie stick that's holding my phone to tape or video for you guys. But it's very old. It's old-fashioned. One of those ones that you would heat on an old wood stove and then pick up and iron your clothes with. My best friend got it for me for my birthday the one year from an antique shop. Anyway, moving on. That flattened it right out. I did use an adhesive sheet. I think it was, yep, a Sizzix adhesive sheet on the back of the vellum so that you couldn't see. Actually, no, I did not. I brought out my sticker maker for once, and I made a sticker out of it, stuck it right to the panel. I used my wonky stitch die for the edge of the frame, or the card front. I cut this cute little guy out. I fussy cut him out. I colored him with Copic markers, and I used W4, W2, and E31 for a little bit of tan in his fur, if you can see that. And then I blended it all in with a colorless blender, and then I used YG09, YG03, G5, and G17 for all the green on him. I used to mix and match in combinations of all four greens. Colored the little buckle on his hat in with a yellow marker. I think it was Y8. And then I stamped out those little sentiment that said, "Wishing you a llama luck," and I cut that out with one of my skinny stripped sentiment dies from Neat and Tangled and popped it up on foam tape. And this guy, let me tell you, I'm glad he still wobbles, because I showed it to Riley, and she's like, "Oh, cool, can I try?" So she wobbled him, and then I showed it to Jax later that day, and he goes, "My turn." Wham! Knocked that sucker right off the wobbler. So there it is. I glued it and it worked. And I think I told you guys before, I didn't show you the card, but I told you I was using one. I had hoarded that wobbler forever. It came in the Simon Says stamp kit maybe last year, maybe the year before, and I was hoarding it. I finally bought some. That's when I told you, when I did my haul video. I bought some and I finally used it. Oh, I did do the inside of this too. Happy St. Patrick's Day, and then did some shamrocks and clovers around the outer edge right there. Card 2, I really like. I'm very proud of it. See, proud. I used pink base. I used my Lawn Fawn rectangle die, but it turned out a little bit too big, and I wanted some of that pink from the base of the card to pop out. So I trimmed it down a tiny bit, but you can still see the stitching. And I used the bigger stamp set and just some different colors. I did definitely use the Lucky Hybrid Mini Ink Cube, but I also used my new Catherine Pooler Mini Inks. After I was done with that, and I just wanted it to be the one side, I wanted it to be fairly simple, I put some of my Studio Katia Jade crystals on there. And then I stamped out So Very Proud of You. Now I tried to do this with sticky embossing powder. I don't know where I put it, but you guys know, here it is. I bought sticky embossing powder. I followed the directions. Then I tried to put foil over it. Didn't work. So then I stamped it out again, heat embossed it, put the foil over it. Didn't work. This stuff does not work for me. If anybody's got any tips, please let me know. So I ended up going over every letter with my trusty handy Zig 2-way glue pen. This is one of my must-haves. Letting it dry till it got tacky, and then going over it with the foil, and that finally worked. And if you look closely, I stamped that out on a separate piece of paper because I had never used the sticky embossing powder before, and I had no idea what was going to happen. And I'm glad I did it that way, but it is glued down flat to the card. And I don't think there's anything inside of here. No. Card 3. Now, I don't know, you guys can give me your opinion. There's 2 cards that I use a lot of stickers on. I'm not a sticker person when it comes to cards. I was in the beginning when I first started making them. But I don't know. To me, I don't like them as much as the cards I come up with on my own. So this is the first one I did. I used the blue scalloped Lawn Fawn paper, rainbow scallops, but I ink blended tumble glass over it before I taped it to the card. And then I used 2 pieces of the green rainbow scallops, and I ink blended those. The back one's ink blended with mowed lawn, the front one's ink blended with shabby shutters. And you can see there's a difference in the color of the grass. Then I took the larger stamp set and used 2 of the stamps to stamp out a sun, and I mixed those. I used Tiki Torch and Tiara from the Catherine Pooler inks. And then I used one guy and one girl in their pretty green outfits, and the wishing well, and man, was that a pain in the butt to cut all the extra insides out. I ended up cutting straight through that post and straight through the bucket to cut all the inside white out. And you know me, I don't like that white border. And then I just made sure I laid them down carefully. Every sticker that I used also, I didn't stick straight down. I put them on cardstock and then fussy cut them out because I didn't want them popping off of the card once somebody has it, once it's given away. And they say, oh, I'm going to throw it away now because the stickers aren't sticking on. So they're glued. They're all glued down. The front layer of grasses popped up with foam tape, and then I used some of the flowers and the clovers from the stickers. And then I took that gold metallic envelope and I stamped out happy, and that's a die from my own stash. And I also cut out a piece of cardstock, ivory cardstock, and glued that gold metallic happy on top of that to give it a tiny bit of dimension before I glued it straight to the card. And then I made sure that I covered up the happy on the St. Patrick's Day stamp sentiment and just didn't stamp out the happy. And that's it for card 3. Card 4 I kind of like, I kind of don't like. I must have done this rainbow 3 different times in 3 different ways, and I did not like any of them. I ended up going with Zig and Arteza real brush markers. and I just colored I drew a line with the marker and just scribbled some color in and then spread it out with my water brush pen. And I did that for every color because I didn't want it to be perfectly symmetrical. I just wanted it freehand. And then I covered it up just with a piece of cardstock. I didn't bother to like cut an actual mask. To ink blood and some tumbled glass on there. I sprayed a little bit of water on it. And then I cut the edges with my antique paper cutter. And then I used some like pearl foil paper from a little 6x6 paper pad I got from Joann's. Well, cardstock pad. And I used my Lawn Fawn stitch cloud dies to cut out some clouds, and I layered those on there, but they're all flat to the card, the clouds. Then I took the coins, the horseshoes, and the little guy sitting on the pot of gold, stuck them all on cardstock, and fussy cut them out. Oh, the ladybug also. He's popped up on foam tape. The rest of them are glued down, some behind the clouds, that one on top, and this one right here next to him. The ladybug, the card's all about being lucky. Ladybugs are lucky. So I made sure there was a ladybug on there. And then I used the sticker that has the gold foiling on it that said lucky from the sticker set. Popped it on some cardstock, cut it out, and then used some foam tape. And that's it for card 4. Card 5, I really did like until water got splashed on it. Once again, my kids. They ruin so many cards, I swear. I wish I had a shelf way up high that they couldn't reach. I mean, I do, but it's stacked with boxes of already handmade cards. So anyway, I took a piece of the gold metallic envelope, the big flat side that had no seams or anything on it, and I heat embossed a whole bunch of the circles from the larger stamp set, and I did them in the Hybrid Lucky ink pad, the Tiki Torch, Tiara, Lime Ricky, and then even some of that green Oasis by VersaFine Clair ink. Then I took a piece of vellum and stamped out I Totally Get You. Heat embossed, I did that with VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink. Heat embossed it with clear embossing powder. And then I went over the edge of this before I glued it down with a little bit of a Black Soot regular distress ink pad, because I didn't want it to be seamless into the yellow cardstock. I liked the metallic on the yellow card base, but I still wanted some type of separation. But then this happened. So I think next time I'll use a permanent ink to do that. And I don't understand how it did that, because even after I went around with the ink pad, I dipped it in clear embossing powder and I heat embossed it all the way around. I mean, you can even see it on camera, the edges. And that still managed to leak some black distress ink on it. Anyway, I folded this under the paper, and I'm pretty sure I think I even taped this metallic piece of paper to a thin piece of cardstock so it wouldn't be so thin. Glued that flat to the cardstock, the base, and then I used some of my Dragon Scale Dream Drops from Nuvo, the new ones, to decorate the vellum. Now, something I'm going to suggest, I don't know if you guys have used the Dream Drops yet, but I forgot, I'm saying that funny, that they were self-leveling. So I was doing what I usually do with regular Nuvo drops. And if you look, they look kind of funny now because they're self-leveling and I forgot about it. So don't whack your cards when you use the Dream Drops. So I totally get you. And you guys probably totally get me now. Card 5. This one I like. I like the way it turned out. Simple. I'm trying to do more simple cards. We used one of the green card bases. I used some of the rainbow scallop paper from Lawn Fawn, but I used the yellow, the light yellow. I cut a piece of Bristol Smooth into a 2 1/4 inch strip. And I heat embossed in gold embossing powder a whole bunch of shamrocks and 4-leaf clovers. I even did some watermark of some of them. But with the hybrid ink being blended onto the paper and then splashed with water, you can't really see the shamrocks that I watermarked on there. Then I took a lace scalloped edge die from Lawn Fawn, cut that out, and then I stuck it on, oh my goodness, I'm losing my words today, guys. You know, an embossing pad, ink pad. And then I dipped it in gold, that antique gold, that's Simon Says Stamp antique gold embossing powder. And that came from one of the Christmas kits. I don't remember which one because I bought them both. Talk about having no like turn off button when it comes to ordering supplies. And then I took the happy sticker and I popped that up on foam tape where it's not on here because this is popped up on foam tape, and that made it even. Then I took some of those little rounded droplets from the, was it Buttons Galore? Sparkles embellishments that came in the kit. And that's it. I really like it. I like the way it turned out. And St. Patrick's Day sticker on the inside. Before I forget, I do want to tell you guys, I do really love that Hero Arts kit that just came out, and I'm still debating on if I'm going to buy that on Friday or if I'm going to opt to go with some stamp sets from like Neat and Tangled and maybe Heffy Doodle, although I just placed another order with them. I'm waiting for it to come. Or maybe Alta New. I want to start applying for design teams. I actually did apply for one. I'd like to get a Hedgehog Hollow kit too. I've never been able to buy a Hedgehog Hollow kit. They've always run on opposite of when I get my check, but I would love to try one of those. And I want to start applying for design teams, and I can't really apply for these design teams if I'm not using their stamps. So I'd like to have a little bit of everything. So I might have to skip a couple kits in the upcoming months, you guys, because I promised my spending would go down a little bit. So I'm going to have to choose Hero Arts kit, Simon Says kit, stamp sets. Here's card 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There wouldn't be a video for me if I wasn't counting my cards. Card 6, my daughter loves. Another pink card base, cut out with the Lawn Fawn rectangle stitch die. And once again trimmed down so we can see the pink. And then I just swiped the Lucky Hybrid ink cube across the Bristol smooth paper. And I used all those, not all of them, but some of those circles again from the larger stamp set in different colors. And I wanted to make sure all the colors of the rainbow were in there. If you notice, that rainbow does not have purple. So when I outlined it with a pink marker, it ended up turning a little purple line underneath the blue. So I thought that was cool. Anyway, and I did them in different colors, and all of these are Catherine Pooler inks because now I have them right at my fingertips, and I have most of the colors of the rainbow in that one kit I bought, and the one mini kit party collection, although I do want the other ones. I really, really want the other mini kit and some neutrals. Okay, moving on. Then I used some of the stickers from the sticker sheet. The rainbow, 2 clouds, those got stuck on or glued on flat. Then I fussy cut the unicorn out, popped her up on foam tape. You're amazing. I'm so glad you're my friend. Now I was thinking about heat embossing that with clear embossing powder, and I decided against it. Maybe because nothing down here was really super shiny, so I just wanted to keep it uniform. And I think she turned out pretty darn cute. Card 7 is another one of my favorites from this set. I used the other yellow rainbow scalloped paper from Lawn Fawn, the darker one. Matted that flat to my card. I used a piece of that Doris gold washi tape or decorative tape that came in the Christmas kit. And I actually cut it big enough to fold under the paper before I glued it to the card base. And this is just a Nina 110-pound card base because I just ordered all that paper. And then I did these 3 circles in 3 different kinds of green ink. The Lime Ricky, the ink that came in the kit, and the Green Oasis from Versafine Claire. And I made sure I mixed and matched the designs and the colors on each one. And then I cut them out with one of my scallop circle dies from Sizzix and popped all 3 of them up on foam tape. I stamped out Have I Told You Lately That You're Amazing, and then heat embossed it with gold embossing powder. And then I picked out 6 of the gold stars that were in that embellishment bag. And I loved how that was a nice little mix and match of different things. Droplets, little gems, crystals, stars, shamrocks, seed beads. I thought that was really cool. I almost made a shaker card, and I always ended up getting another idea and putting it off until the next card, and it just didn't get made this time around. Then again, I've had a lot going on in my life too, so I tried to keep these cards fairly simple when I could work on them so that I could get done faster for you guys. So that's it for card 7. Nothing on the inside of that. I did forget to stamp all these with my name too. Card 8 is another one that I like. One of my favorites from this set. I use a purple base, and I love the boldness of that. And then I took some watercolor paper and the Studio Katia brushstroke wave stencil. Let me show you. This is how I keep my stencils in a binder. This stencil right here, that's what I used. And I lined it up, taped the watercolor paper down and taped the stencil down, and then I colored in each little opening with different colors of greens and yellows of the zig markers. It was just the zigs this time. And then I knew it was going to leak through underneath the stencil. We were using water. I was spreading it out with the water brush. So when I took off the stencil, I didn't add more color, but I added more water and blended each color down into the next. And I really like the way it turned out, and I like how the lines flow. Then I took green and yellow pattern paper that I had left over and used a tiny scallop heart from my die set. This little guy right here. And this, I bought this set of hearts from scrapbook.com for 12 bucks. It wasn't bad, and I like it. I use it a lot. Moving on. Cut all these hearts out. 4 for the 4-leaf clover, 3 for each of the shamrocks. I free-handed the stems myself and ended up trimming them down depending on where they were going. I popped all of them up on foam tape, and then I covered them with my Nouveau, nope, that's not it, Nouveau Clear Gloss glitter gloss pen. And I love that shimmer on those. Wish I could get that yellow one. There we go, yellow and the shimmer for you. And then I spread some of my own shamrocks because I had enough of them and they were smaller, just to follow a trail down along and around. I've stamped out I Believe in You. And that gem is the only one there because the 4-leaf clover is a little different when it meets in the middle. I did try laying down a gem on each of these, and these 2 shamrocks just looked better without the gem. So it's only a special touch for just the 4-leaf clover, the lucky one. And that's it. Oh, it was cut out with a wonky stitch die too. And that's it for that one. Card 10, so I must have counted wrong. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, card 10 is another one of my favorites. I use the orange card base. I use a piece of bristle smooth paper cut out with the wonky stitch die. I wanted to go with some different colors here. I was using a lot of green and yellow. So I wanted to add some orange and reds, but I didn't want to do the whole rainbow either because we had a few cards with the rainbow. So I did oranges, reds, and greens. And there's a little bit of the yellow in there from the Tiara colored ink from Catherine Pooler. Same thing, I used the Hybrid Ink Cube, Green Oasis from Versifying Claire, Lime Ricky, Tiki Torch Tiara. Believe it or not, that is, oh, I added a little bit of purple in. That is Flirty Fuchsia, Rockin' Red, and then Orange Twist. Then I went around with some of the smaller circles. I think those are even Aquatini, just to throw a little bit of bluish green in there. And then I took my Thanks die and I cut 2 layers out of what was left of the gold metallic envelope and 1 layer of red foil cardstock. And I shadowed it, if you can see it. The yellow metallic is down a little bit further from the red foil, but first I glued those 2 layers together, both the gold metallic papers. Then I glued down the foil thanks to the card, then I glued down the gold one and shadowed it because it was easier to line it up that way, and stamped "You're amazing," so that way it says "You're amazing, thanks." Now, if Lindsay was looking at this right now, she would say, "Mom, it needs a comma." No, it doesn't. It really doesn't, you guys. It does not need a comma. Moving on. Then we have some of the crystals from the kit. I think a couple of them are pale green, but most of them, I was just picking. I wasn't looking at the color. Because if it was green, it was clear, it didn't matter. And then I kind of set it off on purpose so that you would see more of the orange card base. And that's it for those cards. I do want to show you a couple cards I made with the, excuse me, Catherine Pooler Marble Swirl stamp set. This is my attempt at masculine cards because I don't make nearly enough of those. And as I discovered today when I was looking for a get well card for my mother, I don't make a lot of get well cards either, so I need to work on that. First we did this one in blacks and grays, and those are both Morning Mist and Nocturne by Versifying Claire. Is it Morning Mist? Yes, Morning Mist. Sorry guys, I was gone at the hospital for a few hours and everybody decided they were gonna knock over my stuff. So it's all in a different spot now. Moving on, that's on Bristol Smooth cardstock. It's glued straight to a black card base. And then I used my skinny strip sentiment dies from Neat and Tangled and stamped out, "By the way, keep being," and that was from the Catherine Pooler Awesome and Wonderful stamp set. And then I used my word die to stamp out, or cut out Awesome, and there's 3 layers on that. But the top layer, I inked up with the Something Borrowed, and then went over it with clear embossing powder. And then I used my Sapphire September Birthstone Crystals from Studio Katia. On this one, I did it on a gray card base. I'm pretty sure it was Fog. No, it looks a little too dark to be Fog. Something I grabbed out of the cabinet. Whatever it was, it came in a big pack of neutrals. Anyway, and once again, I used the Nocturne and the Morning Mist Versifying Claire ink. And then I used the Best Wishes die that I got for free when I went to the MFT store and spent all that money. Stamped out Best Wishes and what I had left of the gold cardstock from the Fairy Hero Arts kit a couple months back. But then after I glued it down, I went over all the words in glossy accents, if you can see that. And that's it for that card. So you had a couple bonus cards to look at. Didn't have to do with the kit, but you know. So I already told you guys about maybe with the next kit. I'll show you what I'm working on next, and that's going to be my Lawn Fawn order. I want to try the Magic Slider cards. Then I'm going to work on the Hero Arts kit I won. And then we'll go from there. So I'm going to keep trying to record and make cards, guys, no matter what's going on in my life. If something unforeseen happens, or either my mother or my grandmother take a turn for the worse and I have to put a stop to it for a little while, I will definitely let you guys know like I did before. In the meantime, you guys have a wonderful week and weekend if I don't talk to you before then. Oh, guys, oh my goodness, I almost forgot. Let's do this now before I forget. Giveaway. We're doing the giveaway. So, for the giveaway, excuse me, I'm sorry. We have not one, but 2 blending brushes. They say makeup, but this is actually a different brand from what I bought because I thought they were cool, which I'm about to show you. And I wanted to see how you guys like these. So I'll open one and show you. We have not one, but 2 people. 2 people can win this giveaway. I had this open before. Lindsay wanted me to show you guys in the last video. I was like, no, that's a surprise. Okay, so it comes, and I actually compared this to my largest brush, and this is slightly bigger. if you guys can see that. You can't really see it on the camera, but this one, maybe you can see it like this. See? Slightly bigger. So anyway, wow, they like, we're sticking together. Oh, whoa, look at that, guys. It's like a magnet. That's cool. Look at me, I'm easily amused. I'm moving on. So you've got this large one, and this is why I bought these, because guys, look at this handle. Tell me, I mean, it still bends, so it still has some give in it, but it's got this wide, much more approachable handle for holding. I mean, when I use these, you're still holding it, but that's flat. You're really putting your hand around that whole thing. Where these, you have something to hold on to. So whoever wins these, I want you to let me know how they work, because the bristles look the same. They maybe are a little bit shorter coming out from the base, but this is definitely larger. They feel the same, and I think that this will make for easier blending. Anyway, so we have the large one, and then we have the next size down, which is a little bit smaller than this. It's probably this size. And still, because these are slightly larger, every single one is going to be slightly larger than the one I have for that size. Then we have this size. And then we have the two tiny, what I call the detail blending brushes. Now this, I wish I would have had this when I was making Christmas cards, because I was trying everything to ink blend around those little tiny street lights that came in the Hero Arts kit, and it was a pain in the butt. So then we have those two. So two people have a chance to win these. What you got to do is be a subscriber. You have to be a subscriber, and you have to be able to show me that you're a subscriber. I'm going to check. And I want you to leave me a comment down at the bottom about what your favorite type of card is. You know, like slider, shaker, magic window, reveal wheel, you know, regular cards, ink blended landscape cards, anything you want. I don't care what it is, it's your favorite. I want you to leave your favorite card and tell me something about yourself as a crafter, your life as a crafter, or something you like to do, whatever you want. So there's three requirements. Be a subscriber and allow me to see it. Tell me what your favorite card is, and tell me something about yourself and your life as a crafter. You have a week from today. So what's today? Today is Wednesday, March 6th. So you have until Tuesday, March 12th, to 11:59 p.m. on Tuesday, March 12th. I will put the date down in the bottom in the description box below. So giveaway. All right, you guys, have a good week. Have a good weekend if I don't talk to you before then. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you should. I encourage you to do so, because we have a lot of fun here. And there's a lot of giveaways. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you can get notified every time I do have a giveaway or I put a new video out. I will talk to you guys soon. I'm rambling on. Bye-bye.